Your Excellency, Ambassador Trana, my colleagues, distinguished guests, my friends from NEA and BCRS and producers and retailers, everybody who's interested in this journey. And I suspect this is the first event of several as we look to what's going to happen on the 1st of April. And we are starting with the official opening of TOMRA's new Resource Transformation Center. Thank you very much for inviting me to join you here today. TOMRA's growth in Singapore is a clear signal of commitment. It shows that TOMRA sees Singapore as a long-term home, a home where sustainability, innovation, and partnership can grow together. TOMRA has been working closely with the Ministry of Sustainability and the Environment. Since 2020, we've tapped on your global expertise in deposit return schemes to sharpen our strategies. And today, TOMRA is one of our key partners in implementing the upcoming Beverage Container Return Scheme, or BCRS. I look forward to the milestones we will achieve together in the years ahead. Singapore's journey towards sustainability will take time, it will take perseverance, and it will take the collective effort of everyone in this room and beyond. With our limited land, limited natural resources, we have to rethink how we consume, how we manage waste, how we extract value from what we use. Circularity is a necessity for us to meet our net zero commitments and secure a livable future for the next generation. There is an urgent need for this. Our only landfill, Semakau Island, is filling up fast. If we do not change the way in which we manage waste today, the environmental, economic, and social costs will be borne by future generations. One waste stream that deserves particular attention is packaging. The amount of packaging waste generated in Singapore is growing fast, forming 1/3 of domestic waste generated each year. Our recycling rate is low, and for plastics, it's only around 5%. Business as usual is simply not sustainable. That's why we've taken deliberate and progressive steps to strengthen circularity in packaging, from the disposable carrier bag charge to the packaging partnership program, and now the rollout of BCRS from April this year. This is our second extended producer responsibility scheme. Each initiative builds on the last, moving us forward. Each initiative is an opportunity to shift our mindsets and for us to reinforce a commitment to sustainability, even as we are operationally dealing with a particular waste stream. We deal with the waste stream, we deal with the operations, but each initiative is an opportunity to shift our overall mindset and our social approach to waste and recycling. The BCRS is the next initiative. This was an idea that originated from a citizens' work group recommendation over 5 years ago. Today, to recycle beverage containers, the responsibility rests entirely with the consumer. Having purchased a beverage, I have to then take responsibility for recycling that container. But through this scheme, some of that responsibility will shift, and it will shift to producers who will take responsibility for the beverage containers that they place into the market. And they then have a responsibility to ensure that these containers are collected and properly recycled. Over time, the producers will make changes to their supply chains, to their processes, to the materials that they use in the containers, knowing that they have some responsibility for recycling the container after it is sold. Consumers, in turn, also have a responsibility. We continue, as consumers, to have a responsibility to recycle, and through the scheme are encouraged to return our containers through a refundable deposit, creating a clean and valuable stream of recyclable material. Similar schemes have been implemented across many countries, some for many years, and the experience there offers us many important lessons. Successful implementation requires the support, the understanding, the shared commitment from all stakeholders involved: producers, retailers, recyclers, and consumers. There will be teething issues and adjustments along the way, but we can address them with everyone's support. Steph had a big smile when I said that. There have already been teething issues and adjustments along the way, and the strong partnership that we see between the industry, NEA, the public sector, and the industry players has meant that we can make adjustments and deal with the teething issues as they have come along. When our scheme is implemented in April, we know it's the first step, and adjustments will continue to be needed along the way in order for the scheme to be effective and impactful. And that's what we all want. The impact of the BCRS will be significant. The scheme will cover more than 1 billion beverage containers used each year, allowing us to recover over 16,000 tons of material annually. And this will mean less waste sent for incineration, lower carbon emissions, and a more circular economy. But we also hope that the BCRS will spark important changes in behavior among us, that we want Singaporeans to have a shift in behavior. We want for us to be more mindful of the packaging we consume. We want for us to practice good recycling habits, such as emptying bottles before returning them. This is important for the use of the reverse vending machines. And it's also important for reducing contamination in our blue bins, making all recycling efforts more effective. If we can have this shift in collective behavior, it's not just about the BCRS scheme and the reverse vending machines, it is also about the effectiveness of all our recycling efforts. And we want for us to reduce littering and keep our shared spaces clean. I want to thank the industry players who have come together to form BCRS Limited, the consortium that will operate the scheme, and the smaller producers that are on its board. Collectively, your leadership and willingness to collaborate have been critical in bringing this initiative forward. We recognize that this transition requires adjustment on the part of all producers. Producers will need to change labels, modify supply chains, introduce new barcodes, and deposit markings. These are complex changes. So it is very important and it is very useful that the scheme is producer-led. As a producer-led entity, BCRS is best placed to take on views from the industry and ensure that the scheme is implemented as efficiently and as effectively as possible, and for it to achieve a significant impact. Let me take this opportunity to clarify some aspects of the scheme. All BCRS beverage containers supplied in Singapore will attract a 10-cent deposit, which is fully refundable. Producers of 80% of beverage containers can change their container designs to meet BCRS's requirements. Beyond the one-off implementation costs, they would incur a fee of about 3 to 4 cents per container, and this would cover the logistics to collect and recycle their containers and is comparable to fees in other jurisdictions. Some producers may need to place a sticker on their containers to comply with the scheme. The cost of this stickering will vary depending on the quantity of containers and how their supply chains are organized. Some can do it for about 3 cents per container if they do so at source overseas and they do so at scale, bringing the total cost per container to around 6 or 7 cents. For small quantities done locally, the cost would be higher. We expect producers to work with BCRS Limited to lower the costs over time by optimizing their operations. BCRS Limited and NEA have been engaging producers of all sizes, providing practical support to help them come on board. Arising from the feedback from producers, we will extend the transition period from 3 months to 6 months, and we will introduce a transition grant of $2,500 to help businesses, particularly the small ones. We will be flexible and supportive to producers who reach out to BCRS Limited so that we can help to address their concerns. This is also a journey for us as consumers, and we acknowledge that it requires change. Adjusting habits is never easy. We understand that this may result in some inconvenience. Consumers will need to get used to returning containers at designated return points, learning how the reverse vending machines work, and adjusting our routines. This may take some time, but every effort counts in protecting our environment for our future generations. Accessibility is a priority for us to make this transition as seamless as possible. At launch in April, approximately 1,000 return points will already be deployed across Singapore, strategically located at major supermarkets and other high footfall areas. This will ensure that 90% of residents in HDB housing estates will be within a 5-minute walk to a return point. We aim to double the number of return points to 2,000 within the first year of operations. The scheme officially starts in April, and BCRS containers will gradually enter the market during the transition period, with widespread availability expected by August and September. So during this initial period, we will closely monitor the return patterns, we will gather community feedback, and that will allow us to then determine the optimal location for the additional return points that we will subsequently deploy and roll out. This phased approach helps us optimally place reverse vending machines, the RVMs, making it easier and more convenient for everyone to use them. We will also make the process of returning the containers and receiving refunds as simple and as convenient as possible for everyone. Each RVM will support all the 4 main languages, making them more user-friendly. One of the refund options available at launch will be Easy Link cards, what we use for public transport. And this includes the student and concession senior, let me say that again. One of the refund options available at launch will be the Easy Link cards, including the student and senior concession cards. So you can refund directly into your Easy Link card and use the refund for taking public transport. BCRS Limited will share more information on the other digital refund methods soon. In March, BCRS Limited will also provide detailed guides and videos to help everyone understand the return and refund process. We recognize that this represents a change in habit. Singaporeans have shown time and time again that we can adapt for a good cause. We did it for reusable bags. We did it for the tray return schemes, and I'm confident that with time and understanding, this scheme will become part of our daily routine. At its core, the BCRS is not simply a scheme to collect beverage containers. It is a call for each one of us to change our habits and our behaviors. A key focus in the coming weeks will be for us to work closely with all stakeholders and build understanding and support for the scheme. Starting in February, we'll be reaching out to grassroots organizations, schools, and youth groups, NGOs, and corporate partners to share how the scheme works and why it matters. Many of these organizations, these associations, these entities are already champions of our sustainability initiatives, and I hope they will continue to advocate for how this BCRS, this scheme, is a very important step in our journey to look after our land, look after our resources, and look after our environment. We're already in discussions with other key stakeholders, such as coffee shops and smaller retailers. We will work to help them become familiar with the scheme, and we will address concerns they have about the implementation. By working together, we hope to build awareness and establish norms for handling BCRS-compliant products. These conversations are already underway, and we will roll out more information progressively to enable everyone to be prepared. This is an important effort. This scheme is an important effort to help each one of us become more conscious of the packaging we consume, for all of us to cultivate good recycling habits and reduce littering so that sustainability becomes part of our everyday life. The change begins with simple everyday choices. When we take these small steps together, we move Singapore forward in a big way. If we move forward together with trust, with patience, with shared purpose, I'm confident that we will succeed, just like how Tomra has grown since your first RVM was deployed in 1972. I am hopeful that Singapore's journey towards becoming more sustainable and circular will continue to grow with the rollout of the BCRS. Thank you once again to Tomra for your warm invitation and for being a valued partner in this journey. I look forward to our continued collaboration as we work together to build a greener and more sustainable future for Singapore. Thank you very much.